Hello and welcome to the 49ers First and 10 podcast, 10 minutes of the most up-to-date 49ers news first thing in the morning. Faithful, football is back. Today is the first day of camp, bringing you updates from the team. I'm your host, Brianna McDonald. Joining me is 49ers team reporter, Lindsay Pilares. Yesterday felt like the first day of school at Levi's Stadium as our vets checked into 49ers HQ. On Player Report Day, we got to hear from John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, George Kittle, and Nick Bosa as they spoke to the media and previewed this year's camp and shared some updates about the team. But before we get into the news that they shared, I wanted to start off this episode by shouting out linebacker Dre Greenlaw. Yesterday, it was also announced that he made the NFL Network's top 100 players list. Lindsay, could you tell us more about this list and how Dre made it to number 76?
Yes, congratulations to Dre Greenlaw. He is actually making his return to this list. He got his first nod in 2023. He comes in at number 76, up 3 spots from number 79 from last year. This is a really cool honor to get just entering the season because the rankings are determined only by current players, so you're voted on by your peers. I think it's a great honor to kick off the unofficial start to the 2024 season, to kick off training camp. Dre Greenlaw right now, as we all know, is recovering from a season-ending Achilles injury that he suffered in Super Bowl 58. In-game, non-contact. So he is in the rehab process for that, but just a tremendously productive year in 2023 for him. He started 15 of 17 regular season games, all 3 playoff contests. And as we all know, he's kind of the tandem to All-Pro Fred Warner, an incredibly formidable linebacker duo. I would say arguably the best in the league. I'm sure people have other opinions on that, but just a really, really big contributor to the 49ers defense. He finished second on the team in tackles with 120, 5 for a loss, 4 pass breakups, and 1.5 sacks. So congratulations. And that whole top 100 list is going to be revealed in sets of 10 throughout the coming days, so stay tuned. We'll keep you updated on what other 49ers make the list.
Yep, some more details on that. The full list of the top 100 players of 2024 will be rolled out each morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on NFL Plus in groups of 10, just like Lindsay said, until July 31st. Then the top 10 players of 2024 will be announced on August 2nd, live on NFL Network. So stay tuned to hopefully hear some more names of Niners on this list. All right, so some of the first news John and Kyle shared on Player Report Day were injury updates to a few players: Talanoa Hufanga, Dre Greenlaw, Drake Jackson, and Ricky Pearsall. Lindsay, could you elaborate on their status and how might their absence affect the team's preparations for the upcoming season?
Yep. So I guess I'll just say that this is only for training camp. So by the time the regular season rolls around, things could be different. But like you mentioned, Brie, we have 4 players that are either starting on the physically unable to perform or non-football injury list. And it'll be Talanoa Hufanga. He suffered an ACL injury in week 11 of the 2023 season. Linebacker Dre Greenlaw, again, like I mentioned, a season-ending Achilles injury suffered in Super Bowl 58. Drake Jackson had a patella tendon surgery, we heard from John Lynch, and he's still recovering from that. And then rookie wide receiver Ricky Pearsall had a hamstring injury that happened outside of NFL activities. So he's the one that's landing on the non-football injury list. The designations pretty much work the same. Really, the only difference is NFI is that if you got injured outside of NFL activities. So they're starting this training camp portion of the season on those lists. They do count against the 90-man roster. And obviously we'll hear more depending on how they progress through their respective injuries.
Right, and we'll keep you updated on the readiness of these 4 players throughout training camp. Now, someone who's fully healthy and ready for a full workout at camp for the first time is quarterback Brock Purdy. Kyle Shanahan mentioned feeling much more assured about Purdy this year. Could you share his sentiments regarding Purdy and Shanahan's expectations for him in the new season?
Yeah, head coach Kyle Shanahan is feeling really good. He said, "It's cool, it's nice." And I think it just is one stress taken off of his plate, right? Because you've got a fully healthy quarterback. It's the first healthy offseason that Brock Purdy has had since becoming San Francisco's starter. Now he gets his full healthy training camp as San Francisco starter. It's year 3 for him. So it's crazy to think that this is a couple firsts that are coming for Brock Purdy. But yeah, I think it's just been obviously very beneficial for his development as San Francisco's QB1. He was very active and present in Santa Clara through all of the offseason workout program. And if you remember, a year ago, he was still very much being slowly rolled into training camp. He would have off days because he obviously underwent major surgery, repair surgery on his elbow. So yeah, a totally different ball game this time around. But head coach Kyle Shanahan said he's in a good personal headspace, and he expects to see a lot of good things in training camp. And obviously for him, it's been really good to just be able to have that developmental time with both Shanahan and Brian Greasy over the offseason.
Yeah, lovely. Now, the People's tight end, George Kittle, also spoke to the media yesterday. He talked about his offseason and his readiness for the new year because he underwent core muscle surgery following the 2023 season. So, what did you learn about his recovery and getting back into football shape?
Yeah, so George Kittle says he's feeling ready for the start of camp. This was an atypical offseason for George Kittle, who said, he has a certain way that he likes to train and obviously wasn't able to do that because he was recovering from, a substantial surgery. And that was on a core muscle injury that he said in May was actually kind of bothering him for the whole second half of the 2023 season, but he was able to play through it. Obviously got that repaired in the offseason. And because he wasn't able to go through his regular offseason regimen of like lifting and, all of the workouts that go into just staying in shape, he actually got down to as low as 214 pounds. He said he normally plays anywhere in that 242 to 245 range, and he was able to get back in that range last week. So he's back to form just in time for training camp. We love to hear that. So yeah, expect George Kittle in camp.
Great. I know the faithful are excited to see him in action, and George wasn't the only player to give updates yesterday. Nick Bosa also checked in with the media. He talked about his usual offseason training with his brother Joey Bosa in South Florida, but also hit on one of the team's major changes from 2023 into 2024, that being the 49ers' revamped defensive line. There's some new players in the mix now, which we've covered in previous episodes, but what was Nick's outlook on this new D-line and the players that are joining that group?
That revamping of the D-line is what Brie and I have been talking about all offseason. It was really the big focus of free agency for the 49ers. And it was cool because Nick Bosa was here during a portion of the offseason workout program. And he said that from what he's seen with the new additions, they're being integrated really well. He called out Leonard Floyd, saying he looks, in really great shape, really good form, and just meshing well with the team. He said that's not really a surprise, but obviously a really good thing to hear headed into training camp. And he did say that they got to know each other a little bit better, the entire revamped D-line, because they got a chance to do a nice dinner before they went on the 40-day summer break. So, we have some friendships forming, and if Nick Bosa says things are looking good, I would trust him. Things are looking good.
All right, faithful, that will do it for today. Subscribe for more training camp updates and turn on the notifications for any breaking news, Move the Chains episodes. Thanks for tuning in.